David Kennedy worked as a hacker for the United States Marine Corps and also for the NSA, for the National Security Administration. He specialized in signals intelligence and cyber warfare operations. He's now out of government. He's the founder of an information security consulting company called TrustedSec. It consults for Fortune 100 companies and governments. It also trains U.S. military cyber protection teams. Most crucially, tonight, the thing to know about him is that his company has worked on multiple previous ransomware attacks carried out by this group REvil that the FBI is now blaming for this major attack on the major U.S. supplier of beef, JBS. David Kennedy now joins us live. Mr. Kennedy, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on today.
First, let me ask you the embarrassing question about REvil versus REvil and the other, I think, Russian origin word here that the FBI is using to describe this group. Am I making a hash of it or am I close?
You did really good on it. It's a pretty accurate term, and most people say REvil that we typically hear in the security industry, but any of them is fine.
Let me also just ask you sort of the first question that I teed up here tonight. I obviously am not a super tech-minded person. I'm a standard American old person who knows how to turn things on and off, and that's it. But I do recognize that this is a pretty significant challenge for the country. As somebody who really does understand this stuff very well, what else should we understand? Or let me give you the chance to correct anything that I might have portrayed inaccurately in terms of how serious this is and what kind of attacks these are.
You hit a couple of really important points to note is that these groups operate with complete impunity inside of the Russian government. The Russian government doesn't know exactly which targets are going after, but they absolutely have no recourse for going after U.S.-based targets as long as they don't target Russian influences or Russian government entities. They can essentially work, as causing as much damage as possible. REvil, most specifically, nets over $100 million a year from ransomware groups. DarkSide, very similar to that type of figure as well. You look at Ryuk, multiple hundreds of millions of dollars per year. These groups continue to grow, expand. Their sophistication grows, and here's the big piece to note. You'd mentioned, why are we just talking about this now? Has this been a problem for a long time? It really has, but the problem is that, we continuously are paying these ransoms because they're getting so good at what they do, going after our backups, also stealing our data, that they entrench themselves that these companies cannot recover. And it's a terrifying situation for these organizations because, you're looking at these businesses that have been around for 100, 200 years, and now they're completely shut down. They can't operate. They can't pay checks. They can't, export their goods. They can't manufacture products. They're completely shut down, and the only recourse they have is to pay these ransomware groups. Which, I talked to one executive, and he's like, I literally had to go underneath the shower and just sit there and because I felt so dirty for paying this group, for the ransoms. But this is the only way that our business could actually operate. And they're making hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and what they're doing is they're investing into more research, more development, so they're getting more sophisticated, which means they target larger organizations, which we saw with Colonial, we saw with JBS, we saw with Acer, we saw with Universal Health Systems. We're continuously seeing much larger breaches at a much larger scale now because the sophistication of these groups have grown.
Is this a problem that is more sophisticated and larger than law enforcement and government can handle? And I ask that sort of from two perspectives. Number one, you talked about the impunity with which these groups operate in Russia. If Russia decided to change their mind about these groups for whatever reason, I understand that they have every incentive to let this go ahead, and they're not likely to have their head turned on this. But if they did, would they have the power to control these groups or shut them down or divert them in some way? Alternatively, does the United States or any other government entity have the ability to offensively combat them, to either dismantle them or to blunt their influence?
Yeah, that's a great point. And the answer to that question is if the Russian government didn't want these ransomware groups to operate, they would not be operating 100%. So it would require the Russian government to take a different stance on these ransomware groups that are operating out of Russia. And let's just be frank, the top 5 ransomware groups are out of Russia. They're making hundreds of millions of dollars. It's being influxed into the Russian government. And it's good for business for Russia. It's bad for business for the United States. So it's good for Russia ultimately. There are cases where, we've worked very closely with a number of different countries. Most recently, there was a very large organized crime ransomware group called Emotet, which they weren't located in Russia. They were located in a few different countries. And law enforcement in those regions, in conjunction with law enforcement here in the United States, led raids that actually busted up this specific group, and they're no longer operating anymore. The problem is that as soon as this group went dark, 4 other ransomware groups took their spot. DarkSide, another example. DarkSide went dark. A new group called Five Hands took their spot and is now handling the ransomware as a service that DarkSide's got filled. So it's really a whack-a-mole problem that we have with these different ransomware groups. And it comes to the incentives because, they're getting paid, so companies are paying the money for that, which is one problem. And the second problem is that these groups can work with impunity without having to worry about getting busted if they're in Russia. It will take some pretty major distinctions and sanctions and going after the country and making Russia really focus primarily on targeting these organizations in order to make some sort of change. And we just have not seen that historically from Russia at all.
Last question for you, David. President Biden and Vladimir Putin are due to have a summit in 2 weeks, and we're seeing a lot of provocative behavior by Russia leading up to that summit. We're even seeing the Russian government bragging about the fact that they're planning on being even more provocative leading up to that summit. Do you think it's possible that these attacks are hitting closer and closer to the heart of sort of American critical infrastructure, hitting fuel supply lines, hitting food supply lines, in part because that's in the Russian government's interest in the terms of the way that they're trying to sort of test and provoke President Biden ahead of that meeting?
Yeah, that's a great point to bring up, is that, we've never really seen ransomware groups target critical infrastructure like we have in the past several months. Let's just be clear. Russia has also been involved in the Russian government. The FSB has been heavily involved in some major prolific attacks against SolarWinds, which ultimately impacted Microsoft, Intel, VMware, Cisco, all the major companies that are the technological backbones of our country. Also, going after federal government agencies, our energy grid. I mean, Russia's government has been very overt on these cyber fronts, but we've never seen these ransomware groups bite off so big of an attack against critical infrastructure before. They've been primarily focused on, going after organizations, companies, manufacturing companies where they can make, $3 to $5 million, never the critical infrastructure that we've seen before. So they've been very brazen with what they've been doing, and it's very peculiar that it's around these same type of timeframes with the new administration coming on board to really test the water. So that's absolutely a possibility. These groups, again, don't focus on these high-value targets without some very clear communication coming from the Kremlin. So I'd be very surprised if they weren't aware that these targets were going on and if it wasn't directed by the government itself.
All right. And target's big enough and important enough that it demands a response from the U.S. government, and that's what they're getting. David Kennedy, former NSA hacker, the founder of TrustedSec, an information security consulting company. Mr. Kennedy, thanks for helping us understand here. I really appreciate your expertise and clarity here.
Absolutely, Rachel. Thanks. And I'm hoping for the Ohio lottery when I got my vaccine. So we'll see if I get that next month.
Very good. I'll see what I can do. I'll put in a word. All right. We've got much more ahead here tonight. Stay with us.